Welcome back to Ember Squad, Aux crew, and new fans coming in to check us out. We are the streampunks here playing the Star Wars Age of Rebellion live play RPG with a bunch of really cool people. What?
Wait, are we live?
Yes. We're live. I'm doing my intro right now.
I'm gonna stop talking.
Okay. Well, anyway, I feel like, you threw off my groove. I'm sorry, but you've thrown off the GM's groove. Let's see. Let's jump into announcements real quick. Let's first of all, welcome back DeVivo, the Gina. Good to see you
I'm
back.
I lurked for a little bit and then I had to do a bunch of work. Thank you.
Yes, let us all acknowledge that Gina plays into the night with us and then gets up before the sun is awake to fly to Seattle and do a show. So why don't we start the announcements off with that, Gina? What do you got?
Tomorrow, our show. We did a very fun craft show last week with Whitney Moore and Steve Zaragoza. And my very dear friend JP, who is an artist. She's incredible. But this week, we're going to be talking to some pro wrestlers, Nyla Rose and RJ City. I'm super excited.
Oh, Quincy's going to lose his mind.
It's awesome. So check it out. It's tomorrow from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's over on the Crown Channel. It's 2 hours of just me asking questions about people, and then you're also going to really want to tune in next week. I'm not saying why, but you really want to.
Okay.
For reasons. Lots of reasons.
Okay.
Maybe those reasons are somewhere closer than you think.
Noted. Very good.
The end.
Real quick, just I'm going to toss this to you, Quincy. What do you think? Are we going to see a certain return of a certain fiend? Do you think it's going to happen? Do you think we're going to see Bray Wyatt come back?
I'm thinking probably, because that's what the rumors are. But I'm wondering if Gina's guests are more about wondering what's happening at EW.
Yeah, who knows? We'll see. I have
Speaking English, I can't tell.
Hey, EW. I have an announcement real quick. Tomorrow, in case y'all didn't, y'all may have noticed, Quincy and I have been shooting a Transformers actual play over on Play Renegade. The first episode is coming out tomorrow at 5 p.m. It's pretty cool to live my childhood dreams, to be able to run a game on stream of the cartoon that I was absolutely obsessed with as a kid. So check it out. It's the first actual play of the Transformers RPG, and it is going up tomorrow at 5 p.m. over on Play Renegade. That is Pacific time, just so everybody knows. Okay. Anybody else got anything they'd like to announce? Are we about to start taking willpower damage? Is everyone taking strain? Is everyone getting their strain from having to... Anita's taking strain damage as we speak. Yes, Sam.
I just wanted to say something, and then I realized I didn't have things that I could talk about. I finally have a thing I can't talk about for once, but that won't last long, don't worry. And so coming to you from the very real library, I don't know, I'm just going to do a mischief. Eric, I'm just going to do something that would have gotten me in trouble in our
previous lives. Okay. Oh, God.
Are you drinking on screen?
Are you drinking on screen?
I am drinking without a covered label on screen.
Wow.
Someone get some gaff tape.
Oh my gosh, I needed it too. We are wild and chaotic, and that's just kind of what we do, and I'm excited about it.
All right. Well, without any further ado,
let's jump into tonight's episode of Ember Squad.
Oh my God, yes!
Are we clear? Are we clear? Jake?
This is perfect.
Jake? QueueTimes is going to be sued, Jake. Jake!
Mischief. The heat's done my brain in.
Welcome back, everyone. As we jump into the game tonight, the crew of the poor Judgement is currently in hyperspace, having jumped out of the system just in time, as multiple Imperial Star Destroyers had shown up on the scene after the destruction of the ISD Starstorm. The ISD Starstorm was an interdictor-class heavy cruiser that was SOSing, hoping its allies would show up and save it from utter destruction. Instead, the rebellion showed up and ensured its utter destruction. You guys are recovering from a very harrowing past hour or so of your lives. We're going to start off right now with you. Actually, we're going to start off with you, Elias. You can hear the rumbling of the engines of hyperspace as you're sitting on the cot. And your rifle is currently laid across your lap. And your ears are ringing. But the concussive force of the explosion has finally started to wear off. And the brain fog is starting to subside. The ear ringing is quite annoying. And as somebody with tinnitus, I can espouse that is 100% true. And it persists. You see a couple of the crew members having discussions with each other. It looks like there's some measure of concern, but you're not sure what. It looks like they're having some conversations about something that you might be privy to, but you can't really hear it from where you're sitting. You do see the beautiful blue glow of that spiraling hyperspace tunnel just outside the flight deck. And you're also looking at the interior of this ship. The cot you're on, well, it's basically a couple of combat backpacks that most of the squad was wearing. In truth, this ship has a fully functional sickbay, as well as a couple of medical beds. However, no one has been really set loose to explore the ship, as everyone is kind of gathered towards the front of the flight deck and is conversing at the moment. And that is where we start the game off. This rifle laying in your lap and the ringing in your ears.
Is there a lollipop nearby?
Upon looking, you don't see any nearby lollipops, but I will definitely let NT tell me if there is a droid nearby.
Am I near them? I don't know what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know where I am.
You are currently on board an VT-49 Decimator, which is a powerful, heavily armed Imperial transport. Think of it like somebody took the Millennium Falcon and a heavy TIE fighter and put them into one. It's large, silhouette 4, so it's about the size of a frigate, or I'm sorry, not a frigate, a transport, like a Corellian, like the Millennium Falcon size, basically. So it's a large ship that's big enough to house a crew of 4 and 6 passengers. So it's actually a little bit bigger than the brick y'all were flying when you first got here in the interior. It's also fully armed and weaponized. You guys managed to steal this ship out of the hangar as you fled the Starstorm just as it imploded, thanks to Lon having fiddled with the gravity well projectors in the interior of the ship.
For Elias context, the current status is because when facing a dark trooper in the hangar, remember how Erica described all the warheads that were hanging around the hangar?
Yeah.
You know a really good way to make dark troopers go boom? Elias does now, and their ears are ringing. There. That's you're up to date on Elias.
Yeah.
They didn't say they hoped for the biggest lollipop. That's the other keynote.
Yeah.
And
Elias,
then they kind of flopped over.
Essentially, Elias pulled an Officer Brody from Jaws and shot the torpedo in the shark's mouth, is the best way to describe it. There was a proton torpedo laying out on the deck, a dark trooper advancing on Elias, certain death imminent. Elias decided to pop a shot off on the warhead, detonating a torpedo not more than medium range away from Elias, who probably, if not been for cover, would be dead right now.
That cover provided in part by Stucky, who flew the old brick in front of Elias to shield them from the blast and from the danger of the Dark Trooper.
Destroying your previous shuttle, utterly.
I didn't make it.
That's where you are right now. You are on this new ship.
And we have all of our friends, all of our NPCs are with us, and our not friend, Jelliso. Also
Okay, then great. Then not only is there a lollipop, but it's not on your bedside. It is like tucked into the strap of the gun you're holding, like MT tucked it in for bed. And it is so if you look to the nightstand, it's not there, but I imagine it might fall or shift. And there it is a lollipop that has melted and is stuck to several other lollipops. So it is a multi-lollipop, a Franken lollipop.
An elder pop.
An elder pop, yeah.
Perfect.
I'm going to get up and move about the cabin, and there will just be like 3 or 4 lollipop sticks out of Elias's mouth. Now
So, curiously enough, it is worth pointing out that the glass, like the sort of the TIE fighter-ish looking front of the Decimator, you might instinctively think is the flight deck or the cockpit. It's not. The cockpit actually hangs back and is on the second deck of the ship. So it sits high, looking over the rest of the ship outside. There is what looks like a tactical area where it looks like there's 2 access ramps that take you up to the second floor of the deck, and then the cockpit is actually accessed by what looks like a harness and a ladder. Looks like it provides for people who want to get into the flight deck fast. You can just sit in the harness and it immediately and puts you into one of the flight seats, or you can use an emergency ladder to get to the top if you need to. But in this instance, when you move around, Elias, this place is rather, for such a large vessel, it's cramped because everything is utilized specifically for warfare. You're looking around and seeing storage compartments left and right where it looks like there are rooms for weapon racks. Most of them are empty. However, there is a fully stocked weapon rack. When you open one of the doors, you see 7 E11 Stormtrooper blasters, including 2 full sets of 2 different sizes of Stormtrooper armor is in here as well. There are it looks like a single crate of about 12 frag grenades and 12 ion grenades are also stored in here right now. There's a couple of attachments as well. And sifting around, you find what looks like about maybe 2 scopes. None of them are any different than the one you've already got on your blaster. But you also see tools for modifications and whatnot and for cleaning the weapons. This ship looks like it was being geared up to be a functional troop transport. You kind of get the impression, actually, Elias, let me do this. Just for funsies, make me a warfare check real quick. Oh, and Gina, don't let me forget, but I need to award you XP because y'all got dosed last game.
Okay.
For notes, how many Stormtrooper blasters was that? How many 11s did you say?
I think I said 11. Is that right? 11 E11 blasters?
11.
So they're going to be 10
12.
now.
No,
I left
12.
one on the platform when
Which
the
would be
Dark
12.
Trooper critted me, and I had to drop my pistol. So there were 11. There are 10. There's
There
10
were-
minus 1.
And
Sorry.
then you said a
Elias,
dozen frag grenades, correct?
No. There are 12. There's supposed to be enough to accommodate for 2 squads.
Ah, got you.
Okay.
So redundancy, 1 squad, 2 squads. So there are 12. They're easy to rack
That's
and
fine.
store up on the walls.
Sounds good.
So
and
there
then you
is-
said 12 frag grenades as well?
That's a crate of 12 frag grenades and a crate of 12 ion grenades. It is worth noting that only 6 of these E11 blasters have power packs currently loaded into them.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
they will require quote unquote ammo.
What's the difficulty on the track?
2. Difficulty is 2.
Okay. Thank you.
2 successes and a threat. So we'll just say, let's do this. I'm gonna go ahead and take the point of threat, but we still need to roll our light side and our duty scores. So real quick, go ahead and take that point of strain.
Am I reset or I'm still carrying mine, but especially narratively. So you want me to hold on and keep rolling?
Yeah.
Want that for me. Thank you.
So here's what you get, Elias, with 2 successes. As you're examining the interior of this room and looking around at the Stormtrooper armor and the amount of weapons, taking into account that this holds a crew of 4, co-pilot, pilot, 2 gunners, and then a complement of 6 troopers could probably be in here. You get the impression that this transport probably belonged to like special forces unit of some kind, or it was meant to be given to one. Like you get the impression that this was meant to be, because it's too small to be a full range troop transport. This is something, if you were going to equip 6 soldiers to travel in, probably some of their best. There might be all sorts of nifty things to be found on board this ship if it was fully stocked. Remember, the consumables were only about half full, so y'all have about 2 weeks worth of food here. Now, before we continue, let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to have Grand Trillo. Okay, so Elias, go ahead and start us off and roll me some Destiny. Thank you. I can always count on you.
What am I, Libby? Good gravy.
I don't even know. Lon, if you would please roll me that white die and see how many light side, dark side we're getting. Hey, it's Ello. Myth, if you would please. Thank you. We're balanced out. MT. Mwahaha. Are you satisfied with your dark side? All right, Stucky.
Okay, let's do it. Here we go.
Y'all have angered the dark side this session, apparently.
No.
Wait, you're saying we're on the Imperial ship and maybe the dark side is taking an interest?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe it's
How
like
does
you
that
in my
work?
house now.
Can't really.
All right. So then let's go ahead and do the duty score real quick. Get it up. Thank you.
He said
Get it up.
me
Every time.
every time. He keeps saying it every time, so it's
45.
fun.
Who's gonna be? Dun dun dun. It is going to activate. That's a good thing, though. It's not like obligation. It's a good thing. Oh no, 45 does not activate anybody. You guys are not gaining your duty scores just yet. That's probably going to change, though. But we'll get to that later. We will get to that later. Elias, this place looks like it probably, even if you guys don't have it fully stocked for you automatically, this is an impressive weaponry that you can use here. Ember Squad essentially has an armory for itself now, using some of the top grade Imperial standard issue weaponry. But if you end up accumulating more, you basically have a place to store your findings here. The cargo bay is very sparse as you move about. It's not that, it looks like it's big enough from what you gather with 2 successes on your warfare check, Elias. The cargo bay area looks large enough to store maybe a speeder bike or 2, but there is nothing currently stored in that area.
Do I see the E-web? The last thing I remember, I was running for the door. Stucky was trying to get that gun.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I remembered it, but I don't see it in here.
You don't see an E-web inside the armory, and you don't see it laying around anywhere on the decks.
Well, maybe Naramnu has it with her. Like I have my blaster rifle with me. I wonder if hers has a name. Should mine have a name? I want to find people and listen to them ring.
Okay. Looking for people, I'll tell you a few more areas of the ship. This definitely sets things apart. You can see the hyperdrive is located in the back of the ship. This ship has a brig. Big enough to hold about, looks like maybe 2 people. But it definitely has a brig. And you think it might even, when you approach the area where the brig is, you see an alcove that is slightly circular. and it has data readouts on the front of it, but it's in standby mode. Looks like it just has red lettering on the glossy computer, like glassed surface that just says standby, but is sort of this weird circular alcove that is currently closed. The rest of the place looks like ship's quarters and lots of places for communication, and an open area towards the front where there is sort of a community area that looks more like a place for sitting down, and maybe the crew would eat here. There's a single long table, and it looks like there is provisions that have been stored in some of the refrigerated units and food storage areas. You can hear most of the people on the ship sound like they're also kind of doing what you're doing, checking the place out and trying to get an idea of where the hell they are and what's going on. You can hear the Wookiee is currently up on the flight deck saying something very loudly to Stucky, but you're not sure what's going on up there.
Okay. I want to go to the flight deck.
As you're approaching the flight deck, you can hear what sound like tones of disbelief and mild irritation from the Wookiee just going. You can hear she sounds slightly agitated. And when you move up to the flight deck and reach the second deck, it's beautiful. First of all, this is different than a typical flight deck. It doesn't look like it's a single chair looking out like a standard flight deck. This one has that setup, and it has what looks like a glass window right in front of you. But what it also looks like, there's 3 chairs. There's 2 chairs flanking the center chair, which is at point. The 2 chairs flanking the other one looks like it is a chair for a passenger. The other chair is a co-pilot's chair. And then there's a wide open space up here with computer readouts and dials, as well as a holographic projector for communications in the dead center of the room. Stucky is currently sitting in the pilot's chair. The Wookiee, you see her, she's leaning up against the window and she's waving her hands. Like, you just see all the great just tufts of fur shaking on her body as she's making these dramatic movements, her girth just being swung around. She's gesturing towards the window, just Stucky. Narumno has been carrying on for about the past 10 minutes. Like, thank you, yes, but can we get my gun back in the ship?
I'm telling you, as soon as I find a decent enough clearing, we will get the thing. We will get your gun. Now get your girth off of my brand new windows.
Wookiee growls and moves, turns around and looks at you, Elias, and she tilts her head and walks up to you and towers over you and just says, "Do you speak Shriwook out of curiosity or understand it?"
I think I'm trying to remember if there's any point at which I've had a direct conversation with Romno, because
right,
I don't have any points in education, and I'm not from any place near Shriwook. I'm from a farm.
Shriwook to the galactic languages is very much like Scottish Gaelic to the world. Like, oh yeah, that's a language with like 33,000 people who speak it in the entire planet. That's so it's totally acceptable if you don't have Shriwook.
I suspect, I mean, like, notwithstanding that I don't know that there are any particular linguistic proficiency rules in this game.
There aren't. There's kind of like I call it kind of the TARDIS effect, where everyone just got the psychic beam going into their head and they can understand every language. But there are plenty of cases where if you want to make a narrative decision that Elias would have no clue, maybe this is the first Wookiee you've ever met face to face.
So here's what I'll say. Sometimes you can pick up a little bit of what someone's getting at in Scots, but sometimes they get really Scotsy and you lose it.
Yeah.
I think that's like, basic conversational Shriwook I can kind of hang.
Okay.
But in the same way that, like, I whistled at Ello that one time and it was just whistling,
right.
I have no active skills whatsoever.
So then I will say you get the impression as Narumno walks up to you, she looks down at you, and when you hear that, the tonality of her growl, you get the feeling she's expressing concern for you. Maybe she's checking in, but she seems to be expressing some kind of empathetic emotion as she approaches you.
I'm doing okay. Thank you. Does your gun have a name?
She cocks her head to the side.
I was just trying to figure out if I should have one for mine, and I just admire how you gun, ma'am.
The Wookiee just pats you on the shoulder, heavy paw, just, and then she steps past you and leaves the
I
flag
appreciate that.
All right, what's everybody else doing?
Muttering under my breath.
I
saved the dang gun.
Saved your gun. You're gonna come up here and scream at me.
I think Myth is in the co-pilot seat, currently diving into the ship's computer and making sure that there is no sort of tracking device for Imperial registry or inventory.
Okay, roll me a computers check.
I'd love to.
The difficulty of that is going to be... you still have the officer's data rod, don't you?
I do, yes.
So the difficulty will then be a standard 2.
Standard 2? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Might I use an Oxcrew boost die?
Thou mayest, if thou wisheth. Let me pull out the list here.
I doth wish it.
All right. First up, for our first Oxcrew spin tonight, we have Q40er.
Q40er, thank you very much. And Baba Booey.
1 success.
Thank you.
3 advantages and a triumph. Myth. You're looking at that computer console. You lean forward and start tapping on it, suddenly getting the idea of like, it seems like they'd probably want to track a ship like this. You're driving a Ferrari. Like, it seems like they'd want to track a ship like this.
I've stolen the company car.
Yeah. You get on the computer and start immediately looking for anything that is sending out a ping or some kind of registration or something. You do see that it is still registered as the Judgement. It is sending out an Imperial Transponder, and yes, it looks like when you come out of hyperspace, it's going to ping its location to the nearest Imperial
I would like
vessel.
I would like to disable that, please.
The moment you see it, you're like... So I'm going to advise that you pass those advantages forward to yourself.
I would love to.
And you're going to have to make me a computers check here. This is going to be... oh, no, you don't have to do that because, again, you have the officer's data rod. So... you're overriding it, I would say... it's a difficulty 2. You've got the officer's data. Like, you're literally... Yeah, I'm going to say that's difficulty 2.
I will give myself the 3 advantages. I just spend those on myself? Is that what
if you spend it on yourself, 2 advantages gives you 1 boost die.
All right, so I'll take the
The
boost.
Triumph could upgrade your check by 1, though.
Oh, yes, I would like to do that.
Okay.
So to upgrade the check, does that turn the green into a yellow?
Yep.
Yeah, it surely does.
Thank you. A success and 3 more advantages.
You jump the code, entering in the command code that is in the data rod. A few moments later, it asks you for authorization. You type it in, brings it up the entire readout of command codes. You just flip a switch. It's like turning off airplane mode. Immediately switches off the transponder, so it will not transmit when you guys jump out of hyperspace. The ship goes dark.
Well, that should avoid any more Imperial entanglements. And would I be able to just, for flavor, change the ship's name to the Poor Judgment?
Yes. For flavor. Why not? You go into the registry. It gives you a warning about changing the registration of a vessel without the express permission of a superior officer could be blah blah blah. Goes down the list of yeah. You immediately change it to
I'm sure I look forward to my court martial someday. Switch.
You enter the words "poor" right in front of Judgement, and it registers. Bzz. Transponder is continued to keep. It's still transponder code is still registering though as an Imperial ship. You can shut the transponder off. That obviously comes with all the complications of not having an active transponder, which, as a refresher to everybody who knows, that's like a car driving around with its lights off. It's incredibly suspicious and usually done by pirates. Somebody like a ship not flying its flag, it's usually a bad sign. In Imperial space, it's illegal. Well, but then you're also flying an Imperial ship, so.
What do you say, Stucky? Do I turn the transponder off as well?
Whatever you have to do to make sure that this thing stays mine forever, do it, please. I don't want to give it back ever.
I'll see what I can do.
It's my little tenderoni.
I sort of at this point sort of snap out of it and see that Elias is standing on the bridge. Oh, you're up and at him again?
May I come in?
It's you've named the ship. He's now officially the poor Judgement.
It's stuck.
Of course, you got to it first. I'm not one to overstep your rights.
I mean, usually it's supposed to be the pilot that names the ship, but whatever.
Usually the first person to name the ship names the ship.
Huh?
Elias will keep trying to shake the ring out of their ears, not get there yet, but sort of move toward the passenger seat. They look around the flight deck one more time, like they're looking for a gunner seat that's probably on a different part of the ship. But, you know, they live in hope that they could sit at the cool kids table and the gunner seat at the same time, so they look around again.
Okay, you find the gunner seat.
Really?
Yes, the gunner's it's located dorsal and ventral, so the gunner seat is actually right above the flight deck. You look straight up into the ceiling of the ship, and you can see an area, an enclosed dome just above the flight deck, where it looks like an elevator just kind of slides you right up and plugs you into a harness up there. And you can see controls and readouts and blinking lights and the whole bit just above your head. There's also one, by the way, beneath you in a hatch.
No gunner seat is beneath me. This
Should have said the poet. I wasn't muted. I'm sorry.
There's a lot of that going around tonight.
No, it was perfect. It is in character, and it was exactly. So yeah, no, Elias just nods silently, taking in everything of the gunner's seat, and then looks back down.
Hey, you know, once we get out of hyperspace to get acclimated, and we're gonna need to stop to get the Wookiee's gun, you might be able to pop off a few practice shots.
They sort of look down like ceiling cat. Really? And they look to Myth, the sergeant in the room.
I'm not one to say no.
Yeah.
Honestly, we have to put the ship through its paces. Shakedown is standard operating procedure.
Shakedown? What?
Yeah, when any ship goes on its maiden voyage, you usually put it through its paces, testing out flight controls, weapon systems.
And I am testing out these flight controls.
Also, that is adorable.
Elias, a full-grown adult, crunches the lollipops.
Ceiling cat with little lollipops. The Franken pop out.
This way we get through them, and then we'll look like an adult even sooner. Are they all the same flavor, or is it like that thing where you do the multiple sodas into one soda? Empty.
Oh,
What about a soda?
You have the multiple sodas at the soda fountain, so you put in the Coke and the Dr. Pepper and the Sprite.
Yeah, they're different flavors.
Amazing, perfect. I just want to know what color my tongue is.
The only ones that melted in the heat were all of the same flavor profile.
That would make sense considering the sheer amount of like heat coming from the laser blasts all around y'all.
Exactly. So they melted, but the chances that all 3 lollipops that melted were the exact same color and flavor.
I don't know how many grape you picked up for Elias, because they're trying to do a really great job.
Oh my God.
It's 1 grape, 1 blue, and 1 that was like those mystery flavor ones that they always, which is just the mix of the new flavor turning into the next one when they shifted candy colors.
There's a bigger mystery now.
Where are the others? After the ceiling cat has finished crunching.
Probably elsewhere, trying to figure out their places and rules on the ship.
I don't know. Well, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't know and I don't care. I've got this sweet new shit.
How's the hyperdrive?
It's like butter. It's so smooth.
You don't have to coax the computer or anything.
It doesn't shake, tremble, jingle. I mean, it figures that the first thing I get that's not a brick comes from the Empire.
Yeah, this thing came out of the QueueTimes yards not more than 6 months ago. So it is purring.
It's got that new ship smell.
What?
New ship smell. And there's still plastic to take off of some things too. It's real nice. I'm going to be useless to all of you. I'm sorry. I'm just going to be right here if you need me.
quick out of character question. Yeah. Is Sam aware of the new car smell?
I hear about it all the time. I have never heard something like this. Makes zero sense to me. I don't understand chemically what's going on. I don't understand like nothing. Yes. It very firmly, there's like the category of things that I'm like, okay, I understand the chemistry of sulfur and rotten eggs. And when I hear rotten eggs, I will understand chemically. They're talking about sulfur. But then there's also the body of smells that I'm like, no, this is a conspiracy. Y'all are trying to troll the anosmic and I will not have it. New car smell, solidly that second pile. You can say whatever you like. It isn't a thing. No one will convince me otherwise. I can be presented with no empirical evidence.
All right.
It's paint plastic off-gassing, which I assume is also the same out of the QueueTimes yards.
Okay, that actually makes sense. God dang it,
yeah.
Still conspiracy pile. Ceiling cat will swallow the last of their crunch, and with their tongue now solidly not TIE fighter but tie-dye, is going to pat away in search of others, ducks their head back in. Let me know when shakedown.
Oh,
we can call you over comms.
All right.
I search other crew. What's other crew doing?
Yeah, what's other crew doing?
I definitely want to be inspecting that all systems are physically go. Not only is this ship in unclear readiness when we left, but also we did have to fly out of it also was on the same deck as a big explosion. And then we also had to fly out of a big ship crunching. So I want to make sure that A, things are running fine, and B, understand the systems well enough so that for the eventuality that they will not run fine, I know how to fix it.
Okay. I would say, maybe let me look at your character sheet here, Lon. Let's see how this would activate for you. I feel like chicken tonight, like chicken tonight. I'm sorry, ADHD. Stop. We're trying to do something
every night.
Okay. I would say this is a mechanics check.
Alrighty.
With a difficulty of 2. Which you should not have any problems with. Yeah.
What?
Oh my god, what?
Just max out all the... Okay.
Wow. Impressive. Very impressive. Nicely done. No, everything seems fine. Yeah, it seems like it's fine. You walking around, looking at some of the walls, checking out the superstructure. Hyperdrive seems to be working perfectly fine. Yeah. No, you don't see anything outstanding. Nothing seems to be wrong. The one thing you notice, Lon, as Ello is just buzzing around behind you, is the crew looks jacked up. A lot of them are starting to, the adrenaline rush of escaping the detonating ship is finally starting to wear off after about an hour. And what you're starting to notice is the strain that everyone accumulated over the last hour, I should say, has finally started to catch up to everybody.
Hello.
Yes.
Do you think we should find one, we should check if MT has the medical bay all figured out. And 2, I think the crew could use, at least until we drop out of hyperspace, little R&R, maybe a little meal.
I think that's an excellent idea. An excellent idea. However, I should note that it's going to be statistically improbable that you are going to be able to retrieve Stucky O'Hara from the flight deck. May I suggest allowing me to bring food to Stucky so that he may have nutrition while he flies?
Knowing full well how Stucky will act, we will offer him the option of direct delivery service to the cockpit.
It should be known, however, that if Stucky refuses to have any nutrition after such a stressful episode, it may be necessary to tell MT not to stick a feeding tube down Stucky's throat.
Well,
I'm kidding.
How else are we going to get him to eat?
I don't know. But I'm learning humor.
Pretty good one. Let's go check on MT, and then after that, we'll check the galley.
All right. When you enter into the galley area, just breaching off to the side of the galley on the second floor, on the second deck, is a very humble medical bay. It's big enough for 2 medical beds, and it is fully stocked. There are multiple stim packs. There are med kits, stim packs, and even some Bacta containers that are inside this ship. However, there are no obvious uses of any Bacta tanks. There's nothing that advanced installed in the ship itself. And that's where we're going to find MT. MT, what's up?
I'll say MT, when you walk in, MT has disheveled some of the beds and is currently looking under one of the sort of like makeshift table tents. Okay. And when they hear noise, they will like very aggressively come up and face you and say, "Ortho, have you seen Elias? I have followed everywhere and I cannot find them." And like proceeds to tell the story of being exactly one room behind Elias every time they changed rooms to go look for people. And I decided to come back here in case they returned, but they have not. Do you know where they are? I cannot find them.
I haven't seen them. Hello, you seen Elias?
Oh yes,
I walked away for 2 minutes.
If I may suggest, if you wish to find Elias, the most probable place that you will find them is anywhere there is a large barrel at the end of a gun.
But they were already holding a gun.
There's a bigger gun.
Where is that?
There is a bigger gun. There's 2 bigger guns.
I will go to the big gun.
The dorsal and ventral gun turrets located on the flight deck. That is their 2 main access points. There is a dorsal. The dorsal gun turret is located on the flight deck itself, whereas the ventral can actually be located nearby. There's a tunnel that takes you straight down from the flight deck, but it's also accessible from here. Would you like me to show you?
I would love that.
The economy design of the Imperial starships are quite impressive, and begins to hover away.
Ortho,
MT,
did need
before you go.
something? Yes.
I'm
Make
starting to feel it
there was a
myself.
patient
And
missing.
Wait,
I'm starting to feel it myself and for the rest of the crew also. Just see how everyone's doing. I'm going to putter around and maybe fix up a meal for everyone.
Food. Yes, food. I was so distracted by the missing patient. I forgot. Are you hungry?
Getting a little peckish. I'm going to raid the galley, see what we can put together. And in the meantime, if anyone's more hurt than a meal will fix, can you take care of it?
I will send them your way. I am not a chef. And I walk with Ella.
Okay. Elo starts going on about the accessibility of the Imperial gun turrets and how they use an extraordinary imaging device as opposed to some of the older versions of the YT Corellian transports. As you move over into what would be sort of the center column of the ship, you see there is what looks like a hatchway that looks like it goes into a wall, but in fact gives you access to the interior of what would essentially be a tube that would take you down into the ventral gun turret. And Elo just types in a few buttons. You do also, again, pass a strange-looking alcove on the wall. And I only bring it up not because I'm trying to tempt anybody, because it looks very unusual compared to everything else in this corridor in the hallway. And
I
it looks
check
like
it in case Elias is in there.
you're gonna okay. So if you do stop at it, you will see that there is a console that says it is on standby right now. But the alcove itself, it looks like it's probably about this big. A circular alcove that looks like it almost looks like there are doors, or like that it's sealed somehow and that it might open or close.
Hello.
Yes.
Do we know where this leads?
I'm not sure, but if we take the computer out of standby mode, we might be able to figure out what it is without having to activate it.
Is the ship in standby mode for a reason?
That's a good question. Maybe we should ask Stucky? I'm not sure. I don't know what this is. It could be access to the missile tube system for all I know. Did you know this ship has missiles?
Is that a big barrel?
Oh. I don't know. Elias might be near the missile system.
I'm going to check the computer.
Okay.
At some point, during this conversation, Elias has passed behind them.
Yeah, American Tail style. Just walked right past them and nobody saw you. All right. Activate. You won't have to make a roll or anything. If you activate the computer system, you bring it out of standby and you see immediate readouts start popping up on the screen. And you see what looks like a display inside that alcove currently on standby. Think of it like you just woke up your phone, but it hasn't been activated yet. You haven't gained access to the thing. As you see it come up on the screen, there is actually an Imperial Interrogation Droid that's currently on standby inside that alcove.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
What is that? It looks like me, but much, 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 much larger.
And probably angrier.
Stucky doesn't realize that the thing of his greatest nightmares is currently sleeping beneath him.
And the two that are fighting it are also part of his greatest.
When
your powers combine.
This could potentially be quite distressing. This droid might have access to alerting people we don't want alerted, Elo. We should inform others. Let us go find Stucky.
Okay. Stucky, I think, would probably be flying the ship.
Yes. That is where the other barrels, yes?
I think so, yes. That's
okay.
The nearest access port to the dorsal quad laser battery.
We should inform Stucky of this dangerous droid, and also ask where Elias is, and also make them eat.
Cut to.
That is my order. And that is the order of operations.
So, Stucky, you're looking at the beautiful, slick, black, glossy control panel. The red and green lights, the digital readouts, the cool colors that the Empire likes to use, the cool blues against the black screens, giving you a readout of the interior of the vessel, and monitoring the hyperdrive and the visual aesthetics that are being used. Easy to read, not nearly as analog as you're having to deal with all the time in like the Rock Skipper is an old Nebulon B frigate.
Yeah,
Blessed, it is a beautiful ship, but this thing is sleek and your thoughts get interrupted by the sounds of gyros of a large droid entering into the flight deck.
Please, not here. Not now.
Stucky, I have terrible news.
Please don't do this.
Not like this.
Myth,
Not like this.
Myth, I'm so glad you are also here. I have very grave news.
Oh.
There is an Imperial interrogation droid on board.
What?
What?
Kill it! Destroy it! Dismantle it!
It is currently sleeping. I will not attack a sleeping being.
Please!
All right.
Secondly, my patient Elias has gone missing. And thirdly, you both must eat.
We just saw them. They just left from here.
You are kidding me. But I only went down the corridor. That cannot be possible.
Are we really forgetting the fact that we have an actual Empire murder bot?
Well,
was
I mean,
discovered by
technically an Empire
An
torture bot.
interrogation droid.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's torture, not murder.
Interrogation.
Torture. Anyways, I'll see what it might be a job for me and Lon. Me on the computers, Lon on the technical side of things.
I can help if we require computer assistance.
Take it to the bay. I'll open the door, and we just scuttle it till it is not near us anymore.
If we release it and it is found, it might have serial numbers that trace it back to this ship, therefore tracing that this ship is no longer in operation by the Imperial.
Or also, it might have a tracking device, much like this ship has, which could stand to be also deactivated.
Wait,
Also,
the ship has a
several
tracking
videos.
device on it?
I got rid of it. It's fine. It's fine.
Why are you all ruining this for me?
I wanted to make sure that the ship would be in good working order, so I dove into the computers. I saw that the imps put some sort of tracking device so that the minute they hopped out of Hyperdrive, they'd ping our location, so I got rid of it. Problem solved before you even knew it was
You
a
didn't
problem.
know what I was getting out of Hyperdrive.
I had a feeling you also had just told Neural knew that it would probably be a little bit yet before we were, and so I was already in process, and I knew you weren't going to drop right away.
Outsmarting me.
You seem to be having a very touchy day. Are you hungry?
No, I'm not hungry.
All right, I'll go deal with that mess that's downstairs. You keep flying the ship because you're very good at it.
Thank
you. Just enjoy your new toy. MT, I will go get some food as soon as I figure out that mess. And Myth is gonna stand and walk.
Wait, you're not gonna leave me alone.
I mean, MT, would you like to join me for computer assistance?
when you stood up, MT was about to take the seat and just reverses. Yes, of course. You will absolutely need assistance in case it wakes up.
Wait, no, don't. It can't wake up, please. Don't.
Stucky,
Yes.
if Elias comes back from wherever mythical place they have found themselves, please tell them to find me.
Of course.
And also, please eat.
I just pictured Elias just standing in front of the three changelings from the Barony of Olives, just going, "Hi, how did I get here?"
And Elias.
I'll absolutely send Elias your way. Yeah,
Okay.
You look good.
Yeah, and there's a I forgot. I don't know if you found it. There's a droid dock. I thought it'd be nice, nice place for you to do droid stuff.
Thank you.
Yep.
And you feel a hand on your shoulder.
The cold metal fingers.
That is very kind of you.
Yep. Yep.
Goodbye.
Now. Okay, bye-bye.
Elias, while this is going on topside, you see coming down the corridor is Tillo, flanked by Gran, and both of them are bringing Gilliso to the brig. When they get there, Tillo just nods to you as he swivels the chair to face the wall and just ding, ding, goes, all right, let's see if we can get this to work for our favor. Shh, opens it up, and Dr. Gilliso looks a little out of it, but she compliantly just steps in, and she turns around and says, are you going to remove these, or am I going to have to wear them the whole time? Tillo closes the door, locks it, and Gran says, I just say put her in the airlock, save yourself some trouble. Gran, as he says that, Tillo looks at him and says, no joking like that, Private. He says, not sure I was joking, sir. And he turns and heads back towards the galley. Tillo looks over at you, Elias, and comes over to you and comes to a stop and looks up at you and says, I don't have any reason to worry. He's done a good job, but I need you to be my second set of eyes on the doctor.
Yes, Sarge.
I don't think you're going to have anything to worry about, but it's good to have a second set of eyes.
Everything okay? She didn't look good.
She's banged up like the rest of us. I think she may have taken a bump to the head. I'm going to have MT check her out, make sure she's going to be okay here. And that's going to piss off Gran. Just good to keep a second set of eyes. Gran has a personal grudge against her for very good reasons.
I get that. I look at the brig. I could talk to him.
Yeah, if you want to talk to him, give it a shot. He's a pretty sensible guy. I'm not worried about him. Maybe he just needs a shoulder, somebody to sort of vent to. I don't think he's going to be a problem, but I got to where I am because I keep second sets of eyes on things, if you know what I mean.
I'm starting to think I don't.
Trust but verify, Elias. Trust but verify. And he pats you on the shoulder. And as he's about to wheel away, he stops as he kind of tilts his head as you hear coming down the corridor. You see MT flanked by Ello.
Hear me out, though. I did have to go after Gran.
Do you want to have been the first to have left then?
I mean, Gina.
All right, you turn and you head out of the corridor and take a left.
100%.
Just this is a lot because there's one more, and this way we get to complete the whole circle before we do it. So
yeah. All right.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go check on Gran.
Okay, so MT, you enter the corridor just as Tillo is rolling down the corridor to check out the harness system. Stops and looks at you and says, "MT, can I help you with anything?"
Have you seen Elias? I have checked every corner of this ship, and I've made sure that I have been in every room and every inch, and even places where there are hidden robots. But, oh boy, I am starting to come apart at the seams.
No. Elias is just down the corridor to the left.
Tillo, I have heard that sentence 4 times today.
Hold on a second. You see him wheel over to the wall, activates a panel, and says, Elias, this is Tillo. And gets on the ship's intercom. Just as you're entering into the galley area, you see one of the wall units blinking where there's a comm.
Sarge.
Are you still in the galley like you were planning on going to all of maybe 20 seconds ago?
I'd look around and double check it's still the galley.
Gran is frozen, pulling what looks like a ration pack. He was in the middle of opening it, and he's looking at you with this curious look on his face. Is like, what?
I have
He also is
Prince
looking around, making sure this is still the galley.
Like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm about to get called to the office.
I cannot believe I forgot the intercom system. I will go to the galley. Thank you.
Straight ahead, to the left.
Yes, I have been there several times. Today.
Oh, MT, before you go, once you're
Yes.
done with Elias, check up on the rest of the crew. Everyone got banged up pretty good, and no.
I already know I am supposed to feed them. I am sorry. My emotions are very out of whack today.
That's
I
okay.
should probably dock soon.
All right. I'm going to give you your space, MT. And Tillo turns and starts to head back towards the flight deck.
Hello.
Yes.
Why do people keep telling me to do my job?
Because there are too many cooks.
But I am not a cook. And I'm heading to the galley.
You literally get a glance back over at Gran as he's looking at you, and he goes, "What was that all about?" And a few seconds later, MT rounds the corner.
MT! And I'd like to move toward Tulip Hug. I'm just happy to see you. I have no emotional context.
Clinking noise as
like an elder pop.
I see you got the lollies.
They were I show the tie dye. It was so tasty. Thank you.
So good to see you.
I got to see
worried.
I got to see all the shit. We're gonna have a shakedown, but not like a shakedown where they take your money. And there's real big guns, and there's Dr. Jella. So she got hit in the head, I think. But the ringing is it's kind of back, but it's better. And thank you for taking care of me.
You are very welcome. I was very worried about you. For the last 27 minutes, I have been looking for you. I was worried I lost you somewhere in the ship.
I look over to the intercom.
I know.
Well,
I'm used to a much smaller ship, where a few steps and I can usually find who I'm looking for.
There were fewer guns on those. But
yes, I thought I found another barrel for you, but it was not.
Two's enough, I guess.
Yes. So, wait, back up. You said someone has a head injury. I thought I checked everyone for head injuries.
I saw Dr. Gilliso go in the brig, cut eyes to Gran real quick and back. And she was looking the way I was looking after the warhead.
Oh, that is no good. I must tend to her. We cannot leave anyone with a head injury, especially one we might need information from. Before I go, may I assess the ringing in your ears?
Yeah, it's like
Aha. And then I replicate the tones. What tones are those? What?
I don't have perfect pitch. I have relative pitch, my
I
friend.
haven't used that. This is the one time that Sam might have this.
No. Oh, hey, there we go. I was on. If that helps, your tuning, Noir. But while we're getting that note,
Yeah, while we're getting that,
you shouldn't have spent 27 minutes looking for me. If there's like a thing we can do to help you find me, I know when I was a little kid and I was running around too much, they put a leash on me so I wouldn't get too far. I don't want you to get distracted from your job. So I don't know if there's something. I just want to help.
Hey, Major.
that is very kind. I do not see that a leash will be necessary. However,
Probably not a leash. I didn't like that. I like running around a bit more, but maybe there's some like leash equivalent. Maybe I don't know. Tracker pop.
no. I think the simple answer is I forgot there was an intercom. Droids aren't perfect.
Neither am I, but you're pretty great.
Thank you.
I show you my tie-dye tongue again for good measure.
Haha. I shall go see to my next patient. You may have a being you will get to use one of your barrels on. There is an interrogation droid on board.
There's a what? You hear Grand stops in the middle of chewing, goes, where?
It is in standby mode. Were you eavesdropping? This is a conversation between a doctor and their patient. I kindly request you close your ears.
He looks around and sets his drink down and
Thank you. Yes, it is upstairs. It is on standby mode. I believe after I tend to the doctor, I should be helping Myth.
Well, Myth is gonna let me know when we do a shakedown, the one that isn't like the one where they take your money. It's the one where you put it through paces. Maybe that's target practice. I don't know. I'm gonna let other people.
I suggest you eat something. It might help alleviate some of the pressure in the crystals in your ear. It might aid with the tone you are experiencing.
It would definitely aid with this
standing near
grumble.
And I suggest eating and then standing near a fan. Nothing too electrical, as it could trigger tinnitus more.
Fan.
That's
Not an electrical fan.
Get near a duct that is just sort of absent-mindedly making a sound.
Absent-minded duck. I look over to Gran. Like, help. See that he's still in HIPAA mode.
Yeah, Gran looks like he's currently trying to work something out between his teeth using only his tongue, and he sees you looking at him and goes, you done?
We are finished.
He picks up his drink again. So where is this droid? The droid, the interrogation droid, where is it? Anyone?
Can I make my way
to
through the galley?
What's that?
MT just starts heading out to the patient.
Okay. You just pivot and head out. He looks at you at that point. Did you say you were coming into the room at this point?
Yeah.
Okay. You walk past MT, who's headed straight towards the barracks, or I should say the not the barracks, but the blanking.
When the brig.
Thank you.
When I get out there, I do use the intercom.
Okay.
to check in on Myth.
Okay. What do you say? Flips on the
Have you
intercom.
found the alcove?
I'm standing by it now. I should probably page Lon, but also Tillo, because there is an order of operations to things. Stand by. Boop. And I'm going to page Tillo and just inform him of the circumstance and what
Okay.
we've got going on here.
Tillo listens
And-
to all of this and goes, all right, we need everyone take care. Myth, you're second in command. I need you to take care of everybody that's not. As soon as this is all wrapped up, I need everyone to just get some rest. MT included, because I feel like everyone's going to snap soon. We just had a hell of an operation. We need to just take a breather. So have everyone complete whatever task they're working on now, Myth, and then I want everybody to take 15 and do nothing for 15 minutes.
Did someone say MT
All right.
snapped?
What? No.
Oh. Okay. It just clicks.
Anyway, we know how it goes.
All right.
I'm going to get some rest.
Yeah. All right. Everybody get to their tasks. I'm on the one with the leaves of the duct. Anyways.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna start looking at this droid.
Okay. So
MT's still waiting on standby. Just at the intercom.
just standing there still as a statue.
The last thing Myth said was standby.
Myth, you begin to check out this droid. Basically pulling an Eric as your multitasking fails. And go ahead and make me a computers check real quick with a difficulty of 2.
All right, sounds good.
Nina, if you fail this, I'll never forgive.
Stop incentivizing failure.
I did have, from my last roll, I did have 3 advantages. Would I be able to turn 2 of those into a boost die for this one? So I didn't bother passing them out.
You wanted to, yeah, that should be fine.
Okay.
Son of a biscuit. Well,
No.
Not like this.
how would you like to spend your advantages? You have options.
What options do I have currently? I have not seen. I don't have my cheat sheet in front of me.
Yeah, no problem. So off the top, obviously, you can spend advantages to award other players boost die,
Mhm.
but those dice are only good for the next roll, and then after that, whoever's got the next roll, then it's done. So
Can advantages also heal strain?
that's a big one that a lot of people should take more advantage of for sure. But for every advantage you spend, you can heal 1 strain.
In that case, can I use my 3 previous advantage when I was just in the ship and I found out wrong?
If you just for the audience watching, anybody who plays it, spending advantage to heal strain is how you will stay alive in Force and Destiny, because a lot of the stuff you do calls upon your strain, and a lot of the cool stuff you pull off gives you advantage. So keep that in mind. Burn advantages. If you can't think of a boost die use, definitely use your advantages to get rid of strain. Super useful.
Sounds good. Then how does that translate for advantages to strain? Because I'm currently seeing it 2 strain.
Okay, so then you would spend, it's 1 for 1. So if you spent 2 advantages, you get back you'll be basically rested at this point. You'll be feeling much better.
All right,
So,
then I will do that,
easy.
and then I will give my boost. I'll give a boost to Lon for the next roll,
Okay.
and I'll give 1 to Stucky.
Okay.
As penance.
Yeah. So as you activate the computer, you see it comes online. It's no longer in standby mode, but it's not activated. So the alcove remains closed. But you do see that the droid inside is fully operational and awaiting command.
Ooh. Okay. I'm just gonna go just see that it's.
It has there is a technical readout that is also available to you of what's waiting inside.
Okay, I would like to just access the technical readout and read it.
It is an Imperial interrogation droid. It's not necessarily the beefiest thing, but yes, it is used to coerce people into giving the Empire what they want through some pretty heinous means. It has a sonic torture device as one of its items that gives a concussive 3 quality, but it also has an acid jet that's built into it. It has burn 2. It is a rival level droid, so it's nothing to take lightly. Has numerous medical files on various species throughout the galaxy and insidious reasons why it has those files, such as pressure points, weak points, portions of like where in the skull to apply pressure, like terrible things. As you're looking through it, you're just like, there's a little bit of just like you're feeling your skin crawl a little bit, because in particular where you go with this, and I'm going to spend a dark side point here just to reflect this in the narrative, but Myth, it's like doom scrolling, and as you're continuing to look at these, it takes you a moment to realize why it is you can't turn away from the train wreck. But it starts to occur to you as emotion begins to build up. The Bothan spy network, the ones that don't come back, they probably encounter these droids every time. And you're looking at the readout of what this thing is designed to do and how terrible it is. It is awaiting the orders of any officer who wants to come in here and use it. And it will flag you and the rest of the crew as enemies of the Empire. It will be designed to defend itself. But you can give it orders as well if you use the data rod.
Yeah.
But you did score failures. So your attempt to activate or use this droid right now it's in standby mode, and whether you meant to turn it on or not, it is activated within the alcove.
So is it receiving data at this point?
No, it's awake standby, like that. Like it's activated, and it's currently, if you were to open the alcove, it would be hovering and waiting to come out, essentially.
Okay. I'm going to hit the comm. Lon, I think you need to have a look at this.
I'm trying to make dinner. What's happening?
I've got an Imperial interrogation droid that we need to take care
of. Is Gran still in the room?
Yeah, Gran is currently looks like Gran is about to have a conversation with Elias. The two of them have faced each other, and Elias looks like they're about to find their words to say a few things to Gran, and he's kind of just chewing and watching.
I shout over them. I'm trying to prepare dinner for the crew. Can you guys keep working? Can you two keep working where I left off while I got to go check something with Myth?
I can do it. I used to cook for my unit all the time. And he sets down his ration pack.
And we can just say that it was I was working on a stew. I was chopping vegetables.
Okay.
Or whatever is vegetable-like from the rations.
I mean, yeah.
This saw a vegetable once. Elias picks up the prep thing and just very quietly says to himself, "I have a knife." Stop chopping.
On my way.
Assimilation has begun. A few moments later, you round the corner, Lan, and Lon, as you approach the alcove, you can see Myth is visibly troubled. The Bothan looks like she is rattled, shaken a little bit.
Could I have called Elo back to my side? I don't know where Elo went off
I'm
to.
assuming Elo follows you. Unless you send Elo
Okay.
away, Elo functions like a WoW pet and is just around you.
Well, just in case Elo was still with MT or something. Okay. Myth, what do we have?
Imperial Interrogation Droid. Normally I'm very good with computers, but this one seems to be eluding me. And it's currently in standby mode.
I take
awaiting instruction.
a visual look at it.
If this thing gets loose on the ship, Stucky'll never forgive me, and I probably won't forgive myself either.
What do you think we should do? Just for now, permanently deactivate it? Deactivate it for now? Repurpose it? I mean, if MT can be a medic from a mountain climbing droid.
That is a terrifying concept. I mean, I suppose repurposing it wouldn't be the strangest thing we've done. It does know a lot about physiology of... we could have a nurse.
Yeah, an assistant for MT. What do you think, Elo?
Elo looks at you and says,
we could get you a new coworker.
Elo hovers and looks at you and says, this droid wasn't as fortunate as me. When it was created, it was told what it was supposed to be. It was told who it was supposed to be. It was made to given its purpose by somebody else. I think reprogramming it is giving it an option to be what it wants to be who it's meant to be.
You know, if that choice is bad, we have to deal with that.
Then we can destroy it, and that will make our pilot very happy. And morale will improve. It's a win-win.
Elo's on board.
I'm on board.
As good as this all seems like it's going to be a bit of an undertaking. For now, I think we should just turn it off until we figure out what to do with it.
Sounds good to me. Let's make sure it doesn't torture anyone when we're not looking. Go ahead.
I'm just laughing. I'm literally just picturing like a floating X card behind the doors of this this droid bay. All right, so you immediately deactivate it, and the droid on the inside just Elo swivels and flies in close to you, Lon, and says, we'll need to make it friendly looking if it's going to become a friend, so that Stucky feels comfortable around it. May I suggest painting it yellow and putting a smiley face on it?
That's not a bad idea. We should figure out what colors Stucky likes actually, though. We don't want to assume he just likes yellow. I know he loves the colors of an X-Wing. Maybe we can paint it like the T-65s.
MT and I can find out.
Consider that your mission for the day.
You just see this little mechanical, one of the utility arms just kind of overextends over the top of its body as it attempts to salute. And the little disc just goes whoop, whoop, and hovers off looking for MT.
In the meantime, Myth, let's figure out how this thing works and what pieces we have to deactivate even before we switch the programming over in case the programming doesn't switch over. And then how to switch the programming over.
The minute that it gets activated and flags any of us, we're toast. So perhaps removing its audio or visual sensors first might be a good way to start. Can't see us, can't flag us.
Well, I'd be worried about this thing kind of shooting its sonic cannons or acid blindly, but I guess that's better than shooting us on purpose.
This is terrifying. And I kind of actually sympathize with Stucky quite a bit.
Look, at the end of the day, something built like this has a set of tools. If we don't want it to use those tools, we take those away from it.
Okay. All right. Let's, I guess, get to work.
Okay. So we'll get to that roll here in just a sec.
Mhm.
For now, though, I think this is a good stopping point. Let's go ahead and take our 10-minute break.
Okay.
Y'all can use the 10-minute break to chill and strategize and not use your break like you typically do.
Great.
And we will be back in 10 minutes, y'all. Hydrate. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon.
Easy to.
I'm bored.
We can go scream at the cat for another hour.
Nah, I'm tired of screaming at the cat.
Shut up with that! Be bored no more with 1985 games. Enjoy their vast variety of products and help bring your tabletop to a whole new level. With easy-to-use dungeon sticky notes. The deck of stories holds prompts and adventure hooks for any setting, and thousands of cutout game pieces with their dungeon craft.
You've come all this way for nothing, fool! The princess is mine! You'll never get away with this, Malachor!
Write everything down in your Hero Notes journal and start your adventure today! Visit the World Wide Web address 1985games.com and find many helpful products such as their Dungeon Craft series, battle maps, deck of stories, miniatures, dungeon notes, and now VHS dice. Again, that's 1985games.com.
Welcome back to the Poor Judgment. We are in the process of watching an impending conversation between the young. What is your official rank now, Elias?
I'm a corporal.
That's right. Private Gran, who is brand new to the rebellion, is just finished starting to stir what looks like a very small, very beautifully reflective metal pot that is cooking actual food. Something that y'all haven't had in quite a while. Y'all have been living on the foodstuffs of the rebellion, so been getting a lot of the ration packs. Even when you're on board the Rock Skipper, it's kind of rationed out, considering how many people have to survive on that ship. Here, though, it's luxury. He's just putting in these blocks of food that immediately just become this beautiful smelling stew as it heats up on the countertop, and he's just stirring it. He glances over at you, Elias, as he's stirring this thing, and just says, "You look like someone who wants to say something to me."
I don't know if you've gotten this for me, but that usually takes a while. Chop, 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 chop.
Take your time, then.
Jalissa.
He stops. The moment her name leaves your mouth, he stops his stir. And he just exhales and goes, "Am I going to get a dressing down? Is that what this is?"
I'm not Sergeant Tilla.
You're my superior officer, are you not?
You're taller than me.
Yeah, that's true, but just about everybody in this crew is taller than you. Maybe not Elo, but everyone else.
Chop, 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 chop. Chop. You kind of want to airlock her, right?
No, I want to hurt her.
Yeah. I get that.
I want to put her in a chair and look at her in the eyes and Shoot her in the foot. I already know where it ends up, though. I already know where it goes.
What do you mean?
When we first started our resistance, I had my very first encounter with revenge. And what I've discovered about revenge is that it is a lover that will gaslight you. Will make you think. It is a lover that will gaslight you. Revenge will sound sweet. It will make promises. And then it will take you to places where you feel like you're not trying hard enough. You're the problem. You're not trying hard enough to make things right for the things that were taken from you. You never stop to think that revenge is the problem. Revenge makes you think you're the problem. But revenge just takes you to a place that will never fulfill you. It will only hurt you the more you hurt people around you. Anyway, I learned that in the early days.
That's pretty wise words for a man who was talking about shooting her in the foot.
I want to shoot her in the foot. No, I get by imagining her saying something snotty and in mid-sentence me kneecapping her with a blaster just out of nowhere. And it's satisfying. And that's how I feel. But I would never do that. The Empire, I've seen them. Seen what they do. They're not all the same. Some of them are people some of them are people. They're not all the same, but then there are ones like her. The ones that don't see people. They see equations. They see opportunity. Cruelty comes far too easily to them. I would not mourn her if she found herself in an airlock.
She got a lot of people killed.
She did more than that, Elias. And he looks angry suddenly as he turns and he says, I'm not angry at you. What I'm angry at is we're taking her to high command, where they're probably going to use her for information and anything else that they can get out of her by offering her nice things, because that's who we are, right? That's who the rebellion is. We're going to offer her something cushy. We're going to promise her freedom. We're going to give her something in return, because we don't use the things that the Empire uses, like that little droid in the alcove. That's not who we are. And it'll be easy for Command to do that because they weren't there. They didn't see chemical weapons being tested on their citizens. They didn't see the people that we rescued from that facility. Our partners, our friends, looking the way they did when they came out. They didn't see any of that. And even if they did, the burden of leadership means they can't let that be a factor if knowing what she knows saves lives. So she gets away with it. And I want to airlock the hell out of her, Elias. And I think if I'm lucky enough to survive this war and see this galaxy free again from all this cruelty, I hope that part of me is the part that doesn't survive the war. It's why I signed up and asked to be part of Ember Squad.
I put down the knife. Then I need you to help me, Gran. We grew Chilaxian barley on my farm. Got taken by the Empire. And I need to know. And you're right, High Command ain't involved. They ain't gonna tell me what Argilliso did to my grandmama's farm. What they did to y'all's. And it makes me real angry. So if you got some kind of wisdom and calm and things. I shoved the veggies I prepped over. I could use them. Because those nice things those don't sound like justice either. That droid ain't justice, but neither's.
He takes the veggies and he places them down in the pot, double checks and makes sure it looks like he's making sure that it's not burning. And then he says, Elias, there's no wisdom I can give you. I wish there was. This is what it is to be fighting. You're going to have to find your own answers. And you're just going to have to know when to lean against your friends while you're looking for them.
What if my friends go easy because it isn't personal to them? Like it isn't personal to High Command.
I don't know the answer to that. But, like I said, one of the reasons why I wanted to join the squad is because I knew when I came up against that issue, I needed to be around good people to help me find that path, find the way. I don't know if that was the right action or not. I don't know if the people in Ember Squad lack the metal to do what's required. And I don't know if that kind of thinking is what's going to get me killed. Or worse, one of you. I just don't know. I think inevitably each of us are going to have a moment in our time together. Maybe as a group or maybe individually, but I think since we are such a small squad, accomplishing everything we have, I think it's inevitable that we're going to come up against the darkness at some point. I used to hear stories about the Jedi. They used to tell these stories about the light side and the dark side. I always thought they sounded ridiculous. But I'm starting to think maybe I've seen it myself in little things every day. I have a feeling at some point Ember Squad's going to find that moment and we're going to have to make a decision. Or I could be being overdramatic. And he puts the veggies in the pot and just looks at you with sort of a self-deprecating glare and smiles and just starts to stir.
What matters to you matters to me. Personal.
Same.
And I will lean my shoulder side by side,
Mm-hmm.
and I will pull the next veggies, and I will pick up the knife. And I'll start cutting again.
It's quiet for a moment while the two of you, it's just the sounds of the blade cutting through the thick stalks of vegetables and the gentle splashing noises as they get added to the pot. Oddly comforting with the hum of the hyperdrive in the background. Till finally you see his smile break across his face and he just says, I honestly think they're going to try to make friends with the probe droid. I just cannot wait to see Stucky's face.
Who would do that?
He looks at you and says, our friends, they would do that.
Cut to.
Cut to. What is everybody else doing right now?
What kind of monster would do such a thing, says the character.
Yeah.
Well, the player.
MT, what you got?
Hello, I cannot talk right now. I am on standby. It is most important.
Elo hovers around and says, am I prohibiting your standby by engaging with you?
I suppose you can talk, but do not be offended if my thoughts are elsewhere.
Oh, no worries. In fact, that happens often with Lon. Sometimes Lon goes into long sessions of repair or reprogramming. And my, as he likes to call it, talking a lot, usually helps him kind of find white noise and think to himself.
Yes. Well, in that case, continue.
I think they're going to reprogram the droid, and I think they were talking about maybe asking you to help. The Imperial Interrogation Droid is still in the alcove and has not been released. But there is a proposal, I suppose, that's being proposed. And it would appear to be a proposal proposing that we reprogram the interrogation droid and turn it into sort of a nurse, if it chooses to be one.
Interesting. I do not see the problem with that.
Are you talking to me?
Yes, sorry.
Oh.
I will face you.
Oh, sorry. No, I thought you were on standby still. I thought maybe you were talking to yourself. I didn't know you were listening to me.
No, forgive me. I am not in that sort of standby.
Oh.
Myth informed me to stand by the intercom. I am waiting for her call.
I should stand by with you then.
Yes. So they are going to give me a nurse.
I think they want to reprogram the interrogation droid to become sort of an assistant, since it has such detailed medical files on thousands of species throughout the galaxy.
Xenobiology. Yes, that would make quite a lot of sense.
It sprays acid, apparently.
Interesting. And if MT had pupils, they would dilate. Acid, you say?
Yes. It doesn't currently have a personality matrix either. It's simply a automaton. So there's plenty to work with if we decide to activate it, give it a personality matrix, and ask it if it would like to help us.
There's so much potential for danger. How interesting and fun. They're going to give it the option to choose to destroy us.
I think so. I should have a good joke ready just in case, right? So that we can win it over.
Oh, yes. So you've been practicing your humor.
Trying to.
Tell me a joke.
Oh.
Pretend I am the torture bot. I'm coming to kill you. Going to shoot you with acid now.
Okay. How do you get down from a bantha?
I do not know. How do you get down from a bantha?
You don't. You get down from a goose.
I do not get it.
Thinking. Okay, here's one. 2 Jawas walk under a bar.
And?
I think that's the joke.
Oh.
I think it ends.
Ha ha. Ha ha. I like that one.
I'll use that one then.
Yes, I think so. But even if you use the first, it might disarm them enough to take a pause from blasting you in the face with acid.
Ooh, excellent point. It would buy me time.
Yes. I think you are ready.
Then
Just as soon as Myth gives me the call.
Elo just settles in next to you.
What
And
do
the
you
two of
think
you
they
just
will... Yeah, and then just what do you think they will choose as their designation name?
Oh, good question. I don't know. Maybe we should prepare names for it. Just in case.
Maybe. What was its serial number? Did we get a good look? What was
No.
its serial number? Does it have any like code on it? Does do Imperial interrogation droids have a designated serial code?
Yes, it's ZI-N377.
Zin is a good name.
Zin. Well, I look forward to meeting Zin and hearing the way they laugh.
I'm looking right at Noir.
Hello. Do you
yes.
think you could do me a favor?
Of course.
It has been 47 minutes since I was supposed to treat the doctor. Do you think you could wait on standby for me in case he calls?
Of course, yes.
Thank you. I hate to run, but thank you for keeping me company.
You're welcome.
I shall be back in just a few moments.
Hovers down and immediately just waits by the intercom.
And remember, do not put yourself in standby.
Understood.
All right. Thank you, coworker.
A few moments later, you arrive outside the brig. There is a video feed that is constantly being displayed. It only switches to privacy mode when necessary, but right now it currently has what looks like an image, and she is just sitting on the bedding that is built into the wall of this brig.
I have come to examine your head. Do you submit to a medical examination?
Fine.
Understood. Please. One moment.
Door opens at your command.
May I run a medical diagnostic on her?
Yeah. You move over to her and she just glances up at you. You can see, yeah, she looks like she's bruised. Looks like her conical head probably got banged around a little bit. You know that Sarians have 2 brains. Mm-hmm. So, you know that she's probably, if she's got a headache, it's probably doing double overtime right now.
Sure.
She just kind of looks up at you with a bit of irritation on her face. Very delicate features. It looks like she is still dressed in her doctor's outfit that you guys basically pulled her out of that facility from. So it looks like it's well fitted, but it's kind of looks like it's been stained just from like constant wearing and use and being near explosions and that kind of nonsense. So there's like blackened, burned, like soot kind of stains all over her. Otherwise, she looks okay, aside from like the obvious purpling and reddish bruising that's happening on her head. You move over to it, and she looks at you and she says, "Are you going to take these binders off me now? They're not necessary. I'm not going anywhere."
Can I do a quick look of if they are injuring her?
Her wrists definitely look like they are getting raw. Yeah. They look
Okay.
like, it looks like she's had them on for an extended period of time.
Whether or not they are necessary is not my protocol. I am simply here to tend to your wounds. I will wrap your injuries, but I cannot remove those without authorization.
She drops her hands down low. So examine
Okay.
them.
Okay.
Easy enough. Giving her once over, it looks like she doesn't look like she's, judging from like the way her pupils are reacting and the way she's responding, and like she's giving you all the signs that she probably has not taken a concussion. Looks like she's okay.
Okay.
Asking her a couple of questions about how she feels. She does tell you that when she turns her head to a left, that her neck hurts. And judging from, as you're checking it out, it looks like she maybe sprained her neck a little bit during getting batted around. Really, the only thing you can do is kind of give her some painkillers and try to help her. Don't turn your head that way too often, kind of deal. She sits there and just kind of takes the examination. By the time you're done, she's more or less okay. She's just been banged around. She's taken some strain damage, basically. But
Okay.
she's okay.
You will be fine.
What kind of droid are you exactly? You don't look
I'm
like
a medical technician.
That's your purpose, but what model are you? Are you an original model? Are you a mass-produced model?
I am unaware if there are others of me, but I am an amalgamation of several droid models.
I see. Very curious.
What is curious about me?
You're built very well, and you seem to have a solid, thorough working database of xenology. It's very impressive.
Okay. If you have any more troubles, please inform Tillo. I will be most happy to ensure that your physical being is in a safe state.
Which one of you is Tillo?
The corporal?
You rebels don't wear real uniforms, so which one is the corporal?
A uniform is an item of clothing. As far as I can tell, all members of my crew wear clothing.
I can see by jamming medical profession into that brain of yours, they had to push other things out.
No, as far as I understand, a rank dictates leadership, and each one of my coworkers is a leader.
Well, this has been stimulating. Thank you for the medical diagnostics. You may leave.
Fine by me. Your company is not exactly stimulating either.
She looks a little surprised at you as you throw sass back at her, and she just kind of cocks her head to the side.
And for the record, I will not be putting in a request to remove your restraints. Have a good day.
You exit the room?
Yes.
Door closes behind you as she leans and watches you walk out.
She did not get a
Door locks.
lollipop.
No lollipop.
MT is like,
What for me?
I should talk to Gran about airlocking her. Being vaporized in hyperspace will definitely cure all of her wounds and ails.
If only my protocol would allow such things.
Yeah. On that note, we're going to cut to about 30 minutes or so later. And here's the update. You guys got about another 2 hours before you arrive at destination, which gives you plenty of time to gather in the galley down below where food has been prepared for the crew. At this point, the crew, you guys have all been awake and operating for roughly 15 hours. So exhaustion definitely setting in after all because it's not a standard day. Y'all spent your time in infiltration and combat for about 2 hours of today. And that's nothing to say of running, escaping, and doing everything else y'all were doing. So not to mention that whole adventure began when you were all tossed about like sardines in a can when the brick you were flying in, the Fable, got ripped out of hyperspace.
Yeah, I'm at 12. I'm at 12 straight out of 50.
Oh boy. So when you all gather in the galley down below, by the way, ship doesn't require piloting per se in hyperspace, and you'll be alerted. So we'll just go ahead and say that everyone gathers in the galley. Big open space. It's big enough for everybody. It feels somewhat decadent. Ember Squad basically has its own galley. Y'all have your own table to eat at with your own food. You're not crammed in the cafeteria inside the Stone Skipper. You're actually getting quality food inside this thing. And one by one, kind of like the crew of the Serenity, you're all kind of just gathering around this table and setting out plates and handing them over to each other. Those of you who are eating, the droids, of course, just kind of hovering about, except Ello is strangely not present. One by one, you all get distributed food. It looks like small bowls of some kind of stew that has proteins and whatnot in it.
I simply do not understand. Oh,
go ahead.
I simply do not understand the importance of clothing to dictate rank. It seems that her clothing does not matter now, as she is a prisoner. It affords her nothing. Clothing should not dictate power.
Is MT malfunctioning? It's like she's continuing a conversation that happened.
Gran kind of scoffs and says, "No, it sounds to me like MT probably had a conversation with our dear sweet doctor."
I did. They were very rude, but that is to be expected.
Yes. She's an Imperial lackey. She has no respect for the rebellion, the Empire, resistance, or human, or any other kind of life.
No, but seems to think clothing is important.
Oh, Imperials are all a bunch of tight asses, MT. They want everything to be clean and precise and uniformed. They want...
No, I checked that. I did a full medical examination.
All right. I don't think I follow you.
Ha ha. Ha ha. I was trying to lighten the mood.
Tight ass.
I am practicing
No,
humor.
I don't want that joke to go any further while I'm eating stew. We're going to stop right there.
Well, now
But
the
Ello
visual's
and I
in
were
my head.
practicing. Ello and I were practicing our humor. We think we'll be ready when my new nurse is available.
Where is Ello, anyway? Ello!
Oh, Ello is waiting for Myth to contact me.
But Myth is
Oh.
wait over.
The Boston just pauses for a second.
Sorry, I got caught up in work. I completely forgot that you take everything literally. You don't have to stand by when I say stand by. Just like permanently. You can go about your business until I contact you.
Yeah, hate to interrupt. What's this about a new nurse?
The interrogation droid is going to be fitted with a personality matrix. They are going to be my new medical assistant.
We're working on it. No promises.
I better go get Ello.
What?
Honestly, that makes me feel better. I'm not the only one that forgot about the intercoms today. I'm in a much better mood.
MT moves over.
You ever start shoveling food into your face so you can leave before the fight?
This better
Elias,
still be part
right now.
Elias is kind of awkwardly getting their bowl and just like eating as quickly as possible to get away from the table.
It's about to explode.
This better be part of the droid trying to learn humor, right?
Dead
Ha
silence.
ha! This is where somebody goes ha ha, and we all have a laugh because the interrogation droid got put out in hyperspace and disintegrated to the very
okay.
last atom. Right?
I haven't. We haven't done that yet because when I went to access the computer, I put it into standby mode. It didn't go on.
You turned it on?
I didn't turn it on. I just it accidentally went into standby mode. Normally I'm just so much better with computers, but then I saw the technical readout and
standby from what? What is it? What is it meant to do? You know what it's standing by from?
Not standing by for orders.
For orders. What kind of orders do you think that thing is waiting for? And I guarantee you, it's not waiting to give somebody a lollipop.
Neither was MT when MT was built. What's your point?
Well, you've seen what MT does with a knife. Not exactly providing the best argument for yourself right now.
MT has saved our lives more times than you have at this point when it comes to landing those old bricks, all right?
Tillo immediately speaks up and goes, hey, everyone, let's take it down a notch. We've had a long day. We're all a little on edge right now. We all need some sleep. Let's just have a meal. I'm hearing about this for the very first time. So here's my compromise. Myth, when we're done here, you and Lon are going to pitch me this idea you have about this droid.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
And we'll take it from there.
That's fair. Look, I'm sorry about talking about your skills, Stucky. I'm just saying that it is our job to make sure that whatever assets are available to us that we can take from the Empire are options. If we do our thing and that thing still wants to blast our brains with vibrations to get secrets out of us, then right out the airlock it goes, and Elias can have their first chance to shoot something live.
Listen. I understand the sentiment. A ship is designed to take someone from point A to point B. That is its entire purpose. That is what it is designed for. That thing that is not designed to do anything except really gruesome shit.
I'm not arguing that, Stucky.
It's Empire to the last 0 and 1.
And that's why the suggestion came up to reprogram it to work for us. And it has an incredible amount of knowledge of xenobiology.
Listen,
it's about application.
I will admit, maybe I'm wrong about MT. MT has saved our lives and has been a valuable and productive member of the crew. I will give you that, but that thing is a floating ball of death.
Gran clears his throat after he finishes a bite and goes, why is the poor Judgment different?
Point A, point B. That's what a ship does.
Ship crafted by the Empire, filled with weapons, designed to get people to point A to point B so they could kill more people. Why is it different? You took it, reprogrammed it. Now it flies for the rebellion with one of the best damn pilots there are. No offense there, Lon, but I've seen some pilots in my day, and this one can fly, let me tell you. I'm just saying, inside the metal casing of every droid, there's a new being waiting to be born, right? There's a way to make this work for the rebellion. Just a thought. Worst case scenario, you get the satisfaction of blowing up an Imperial interrogation droid.
If anybody's going to blow it up, honestly, it's going to be Elias. Fastest shot here. But I'm telling you, if that thing wakes up and we get the programming wrong, even slightly, the damage it could do before we put it down.
That's why we make sure to do things to mitigate the risk. If we activate it in the airlock, and I'll make sure that you're the one with your finger on the button to space it at the minute something goes wrong.
But Elo pointed out something before to me. Right now, that thing doesn't have a choice, and you're right. As it stands, that thing doesn't have will to decide whether or not it wants to hurt us. It will. What we're going to offer it is a choice, but we can't offer it a choice until we give it some free will. Elo says he's lucky that he gets to make that decision. MT's made that decision, and all of us have made that decision. Let's give it a shot. And if it doesn't work out, like you said, then Elias gets to take a shot.
And it's at that point where you all realize Elias is not there. This is not at the table. Cut to. Our audience noticed that Sam had rolled the dice just then. Sam, your successful stealth check with 3 successes. You managed to get away from the table while everyone was in the middle of a very poignant and heated conversation. You are currently standing in front of the alcove. You see that the readout is on standby right now, but the power is on.
How does standby work? I think Elias is, you know how there's some computer operations where you're not starting a program, like you're just sort of like doing checks, like nothing that would inadvertently do something. It's just Elias has the thought of needing information on their mind, and they're not waking it up. They're not waking it up. They're just curious.
There are 2 modes of standby. Right now, the screen is blank with just the word standby on it. If you were to wake it up, it would still be on standby, but it would be awake. It would be awaiting commands, basically. It is advanced AI. It is not sentient AI in this droid currently.
Okay. Cool. Is a will save a discipline check?
Yes.
Cool.
Are you going to elect to roll a discipline check?
Eric.
Okay, so what are you trying to resist? What impulse are you trying
standby level 2.
Okay, so oh my god, this is absolutely the Space Madness episode of Ren and Stimpy, and you being told not to push the big red shiny button.
I wasn't around in the conversation where everyone was coming to a reasonable compromise, I'll have you know. I was stealth checking out of there and seeing if I give in to just a little bit of temptation.
A nice shiny red button. All right. I'm going to be fair about this because I really want to fuck around and find out scenario. I'm going to spend a dark side point, and I'm going to make that instead of upgrading the difficulty, I'm going to just increase the difficulty from a standard 2 to a 3 because I feel like that's enough to say 3 purples on this discipline.
Is it 3 purple instead of a purple red?
Correct.
On a destiny?
Yeah. So I'm spinning it. So the reason because we're doing a roll that's unusual, because we're literally like roll for temptation is kind of what we're doing. And it doesn't feel right to throw a challenge die at you for that. If I want to mess with you, because 2 is too easy. If I, as a GM, want to interfere here and like add further complication, my middle ground is instead of upgrading you to a challenge die, is to simply increase the difficulty by 1, which is sort of a middle ground.
All right.
So 3 purple as opposed to because keep in mind with the challenge die, you could always roll a despair. And then, boy.
I think I'm more likely to succeed the roll on fewer dice, but more likely, obviously, to get a despair on a red. I am going to take an ox boost to give peace a chance.
I tell you what, I tell you what, since you are electing to make this roll yourself, I will give you dealer's choice. Do you want the extra perp, or do you want the red and perp?
I'm a purple trader. No, I think a despair would be a fascinating outcome.
I knew
it's
you were going to say that.
Interesting than just failure, success, advantage, threat, right?
Sure. This is Sam Celebrate the Natural One Delev. And this is being brought to you by Vance 1982.
Oh, Vance. I hope you're...
In the spirit of Vance's unfortunate luck with the last time Vance tried to do something risky.
Well.
Perfect 0 successes. What were you attempting to do? You were attempting to resist?
Yeah.
Okay. You fail.
Yeah. Okay.
With 0 successes, it's a perfect cancellation. You do not achieve. So you find yourself... It's those same moments when you see targets down your scope, you become calm. You exhale. You don't think about anything except for nothing. It's that sweet moment of thoughtlessness, like between waking up and sleeping, between every breath. It's one of the thrills and things that really fulfills you about being a sharpshooter. In between those moments, though, is like opening night at a play. And in that moment, you find an anxiety build. The enemy of your efficiency as a sharpshooter is the mind and not being able to focus. You're not paying attention to the fact right now that as you're thinking about this, Elias, you, like so many of us, don't realize that you've been gently tapping your finger against the console just in a nervous tick. You don't realize that you're actually uncertain about what you're about to do. And when the impulse seizes you, you realize you just swipe up on the screen to see if maybe that's a way to get access to maybe just looking at the blueprints of it.
I just want to look.
It goes. You can hear inside the alcove the as the droid inside activates and begins to hover in its alcove. You can see on the blueprint that the droid has come online and is awaiting instructions. The alcove doors is currently closed.
Can you hear me?
There's no response.
How do you work exactly? No one's coming yet, right?
No one's coming yet.
Is there anything on the readout?
Just that it's on standby right now, awaiting instruction, and that the alcove doors are closed.
I would like to look for a menu.
Yeah, you see
just
one.
For a menu.
Yep. You see a menu. See a couple of options on the menu.
I'm just going through. I'm trying to window shop at this stage, and we'll see where the party goes from there. But
okay.
Just like if there's description of duties, if there's just like there's this thing that gets information.
Yep.
I just want to know more about it before.
Make a computer's roll, if you would, please.
Oh dear.
The difficulty of this roll, though, is 1.
Oh dear. Okay. I'm still gonna call on another Ox boost because
you're playing with fire and you want to make sure you're doing so with a glove that is not flammable.
That way, when I get burnt, it's not because I didn't try everything possible not to get burnt while doing the with your hand past the flame, a thing I've never done because, again, I'm pyrophobic.
We thank Darth Pillow for supporting the Ember Squad and Sam's bad idea.
Yes!
Okay, 2 successes, a threat. I think the stress is definitely going to come in form of strain.
Fine. Yeah.
Because of everything that's been going on. By the way, though, if you would please make me a cool check
An Elias?
With the standard difficulty of 2. Okay, never mind.
Wow. No, I'm still strained. Which makes sense. Look.
You know what?
They don't have sleep. They don't have impulse control.
Roll a boost die, if you would, please.
Absolutely.
There's a chance. There it is.
Oh.
Wow. Literally the best roll you could get on the boost die because you were fed.
I was.
So I was going to give you an extra boost die for that. So you can heal 1 strain. Actually, you can heal 2 strain because you got an advantage and a success.
Cool. All right, I'm back down.
All right. You healed 2 strain. Okay. So you got, what was your computer's check on the game table? You rolled 3 successes, 1 threat. Okay. Easy enough. You navigate this menu. What are you looking for specifically?
I don't. Elias doesn't know. They're looking for information about this droid, about how. I think they're looking for information about how interrogation works, and there's no one they can ask, and like kind of maybe sort of want to ask this droid, but like not real. They don't know what they want, but they want.
Then I'm gonna give this to you, Elias. Yeah. You find yourself going through the menu, and there's a lot of files in here, but a lot of them are interactive, and there seems to be some programs here specifically designed for first-time users. In other words, not everyone is immediately trained in how to operate an interrogation droid, so there is sort of a how-to guide for new officers who are using the device so that they can efficiently use this droid to its maximum potential. And it includes examples and results to expect and all sorts of things that are horrifying to read. The more you dig into this, Elias, seeing what this does, what's horrifying about it in particular is how blasé it is about everything that it's doing, what it does to its subjects, how some of the stimulants and depressants that are used in order to manipulate subjects are effective on certain species and lethal to others. This is how much sedative you need to use on a Wookiee. It just keeps going down the list. It gets dark and dark and dark. This thing is used to pretty much draw information out of any known species the Empire has come across. And some of the files date back to the Old Republic. Some of these files are medical files when the Empire had greater access on Coruscant to a wider range of species that were making a home there. As you're kind of looking at this, you see a device that has been that is crafted to cause misery and to extract by force from its victims anything that the Empire wants to get from them.
Okay, the Empire goes too hard for Elias in that respect. Like, oh, okay. Wow. Right. Nope. Empire got it. But maybe I offload chapter 1.
Okay.
Just like not all the torture stuff. Just like if they have beginner interrogation for beginners, maybe Elias tries to like download chapter 1 of interrogation for beginners before the torture stuff.
Okay.
Right? Just how to ask questions and be
basic commands
and have people pay attention and respect and what.
You feel someone is approaching you. And by the time you realize somebody is approaching you, you were too drawn into what it is you were looking at.
What are you doing with that thing, Elias?
Checking on it.
You should step back. You should step back from that, please. That's I can't help but notice that doing some reading.
It's just I didn't turn it on. I promise.
Honestly, you might be the only one on the ship that doesn't want to turn it on. You see, it has a reserve of Bantha so that it can recover some of the wounds that it causes. Makes it last longer.
Stucky, have you
Not
seen...
me. No.
Who?
Just you should leave that thing alone. Is all. It's not
Stucky.
It's not like MT or low. It's that. If you're curious, I could tell you a little bit more about it. I wanted to. Everybody's talking about this thing like that. It's like it's a victim. Like it could. Like it's not its fault, and it's like it's not just a tool.
Who was it?
It was everybody. We were on the outer rim. We did some smuggling, some racing, and the Empire was fine with it until they caught wind that apparently we were running goods for the rebels as well. Of course, we were adamant that we didn't do that. But this thing has a way of it's good at what it does. It's as finely crafted as the ship.
I'm sorry.
It's nothing to be sorry about. That's why we're all here. We have our baggage. I've thought about using one of those if I ever found the people. I tried to rebuild one. It's the more you learn about it, the more disgusting you feel about it. So if you're curious, don't be. You're better off with your blaster.
Why did you look into it? If it did all that.
You know, they didn't even give us the dignity of sending soldiers. They sent scavenged, reinstated battle droids from all the way back from the Clone Wars. We're just pirates, thugs. And you can't beg for your life to a droid. Just run. Or shoot. I picked run, you picked shoot.
Yeah. Maybe we pick shoot. I'll tell Sergeant Tilla we pick shoot.
I've tried shooting. Points to the blaster hole in the armor. I think running is what I'm good at. But I can put you in a position to shoot. So
I put my hands over your hands. I'll pick shoot. I promise.
And when you start shooting, I promise I'll get you the hell out of there. Just that thing, just be careful. If you are curious, I can't stop you. I could just tell you what happened when I was.
I look back long enough to just exit out of the menu and turn back to Stucky. I still keep one of my hands on his hands. And turn back and bring them close enough that we're fairly close, like hands touching my chest.
I think Stucky would go in for the hug and
yeah.
I'm not afraid of these things. It's just
I would be if they'd done all that.
They were saying that droids and ships are the same, and I don't think anybody can understand how I feel about that like you might. I don't think droids are like ships. I don't think droids are like guns. I think there's something different.
Sure they are. My gun isn't like MT. This ship isn't like my gun. Different things are different.
Right? I'm not scared of the droids. I'm scared of what droids might be. If that makes sense. I'm the flyboy, not a thinker.
No, it's not you. I'm just all aim, no brain. That's what my cousin said.
I'll stick, no. I'll think of something that rhymes later.
Not that one.
No, that one didn't work. I'll thruster and no bluster. Listen, there's still stew, and you should eat.
Are they still talking about it in there?
Myth and Lon are determined to figure this out, and it makes sense. I guess they keep saying that they want to give it a choice and free will, and I see in their eyes that there's optimism, but
Stucky, go fly things. I'll take care of this. And they put down your hands and they straighten up.
Okay.
And they're gonna head on into the galley.
All right. You get back into the galley. There's a conversation still happening here. And about this point, MT, would you have rejoined everybody, or where would you be at?
No, MT's not with everyone.
Okay. So when you enter the galley, everyone except MT is there, and obviously Stucky. Gran is kind of apart from everybody else. He's over by the counter. Looks like he's getting his second helping, and he's just quietly listening to everybody else. And he looks at you when he walks in, and he looks like he's got something on his mind, but he just kind of nods to you as he continues kind of stirring the bowl. It sounds like Tillo's listening to Myth and Lon talk a little bit about possibilities and why it might be a good option.
I don't think we should do it.
And that gets Tillo's attention. You don't? Why not?
It's risky. It's a bad idea. There's lots of xenology in the galaxy. Not destroyed. And
Well,
they're sort of like, their stance is kind of wide. Their power.
Yeah, Tillo notes that
It's
probably since the first time Elias has joined Ember Squad, Elias is standing firm, chin up, kind of making a declarative. And it takes a moment so like everybody in the room, it kind of sinks in that Elias is doing something unusual. Elias is using command language. They're not leaving anything open to question. They're not asking. They're not making a statement with a question mark at the end of a sentence. They're not leaving things open for yes or no. Elias has entered the room and said, "We're not doing this."
If Elias is sure about not doing it, then I would have to agree with Elias. I trust the kid's instincts.
Tillo kind of just nods and says, "Well, this is technically not a democracy. However, I can't disagree with Myth. We'll extract any information we can get off the droid's database, save it to enhance whatever we want to use in the future. Anything that's useful, everything else that is used to hurt people will be destroyed, as will the droid. We'll send it out the airlock."
Perfect. I think that the supplementary data would probably be an asset to MT.
All right. And as that is said, Tillo just says, "All right, everybody, go get some rest. Let's break." And as people get up and start moving away from the table, Gran just comes up to you and says, "Did somebody get their doctor taken care of?"
Didn't take care of the doctor. Took care of the pilot.
I think the droid may have been the pilot's doctor, though, yeah? The meaning kind of sliding in there for a minute, Elias. The conversation that you had with Gran earlier. He doesn't have snide remarks on his face or anything like that. He just kind of notes somebody was able to get rid of a bad thing. And you just see him nodding as he heads out, scooping more food into his mouth. Which is going to lead us to MT.
MT is sitting on the floor next to Elo, or has sent Elo back.
Okay.
But she's sitting where the speaker is.
Okay.
And she leans back, and you see that her point of view was hearing the conversation between Elias and Stucky.
Mm-hmm.
And she's sitting there for a moment. And is Stucky still in the hallway?
I think Stucky is heading towards the flight deck, but slowly.
Okay. I think she stands and kind of taps on the wall with her finger to make herself known quietly.
Clink, clink, clink.
Stucky will stop and turn to see you. And you can tell, like, he takes a deep breath to like prepare for this, but it's almost like I've got almost nothing left in the tank instead of like, oh God, not this again. So It's just, hey, MT.
I did not mean to eavesdrop, but I wanted to say I am very sorry. You do not have to say any words. I imagine that was very difficult for you. But if you would let me, I might offer a suggestion for your query.
What do you got, MT?
You said you are afraid of what droids might be.
Yeah.
That ships are ships and weapons are weapons. I think the closest comparison, if this gives you comfort or not, but droids are like people. They can be programmed for cruel things, told to do cruel things, and also useful, helpful things. Things that make their coworkers or those they care for happier, more at ease. I think droids are closest to people, even if they don't mean to be. I will leave you now.
Wait. That I appreciate you telling me that, MT, but you didn't need to.
I know. But I do not like seeing my coworker afraid. I do not want you to be afraid of something you don't understand. People sometimes do not make sense to me either. I do not know why Dr. Jesso is the way that she is. She scares me.
That thing, and he points to the Inquisitor droid.
Yes.
That scares me, but you haven't scared me for some time.
That cannot be true.
No, it is. You infuriate me.
Is it my humor?
No, I I want to hate you so bad.
That is understandable. I am not very charming.
You are surprisingly charming, and every time I think of you like a teammate, I ask myself where were your servos built? Was it in the same factory that built the servos that killed my mom? Is the metal that you're made of the same metal that was used to ruin? and it gets harder every time, and I hate that. That's what you do. You make something that was so simple so much harder, and I hate it. But
Have you ever heard of the ship of Theseus?
is that like an X-Wing variant?
It is an old philosophy about a ship that over time all of its parts have been replaced by other parts, and whether or not it is the same thing by the end of its journey. I do not know where all of my metal was forged. All I can tell you is that at this moment that you know me, I am MT, your medical technician droid and co-worker. And I do not know where I will be repurposed at the end of my life as your medical technician.
And there you go, upsetting me again, because I would rather not think of you being repurposed, MT. You don't get to go anywhere I don't take you.
Affirmative.
There's an alarm that starts to go off on the computer navigation console. It's not a negative thing. It is alerting you that the hyperspace journey is coming to an end, that you are about to reach destination.
All right, let me see how smooth I can make this. And if it makes you feel any better, MT, I ate.
MT's tiny things just...
Oh no, I lied. You do scare me.
That is more like it. Now try not to break this one.
There's the hate.
The blue tunnel of hyperspace suddenly flashes bright white, and all of a sudden it vanishes, it melts away in front of you as the elongated stars come back to single pinpricks of light in the dark curtain of night. You guys come leaving hyperspace, and as soon as you arrive, make a computer's check for me with a it's short range. Make a computer's check for me with a single boost die.
Okay, and I actually have another boost die because this is going to be my first roll, and I think somebody gave me a boost earlier. What was the difficulty?
Difficulty is 1.
Selected. What? I have a character. Just roll. Oh, Stucky. Roll dice. 1 second. I don't know why this is happening.
Does it highlight your actual little figure on the platform?
Oh, I think I was on the ship because I'm looking at it.
You're that obsessed with the poor judgment.
Listen, I am.
Seriously, y'all, before we went live, Noir was telling us how he bought a model and was going to paint it.
I bought a model and I bought an STL file. Let's go. 2 successes, 3 advantages.
It takes you a few seconds to process what you're seeing, because at first you have the instinct that maybe you're just reading it wrong, but it settles in on you. And confirming it, looking up from the sensors outside the window of the flight deck, you lean forward. Stucky, the rock skipper, is not here. there is no sign of any rebel presence at all. Empty space. Nothing. And that is where we are going to leave off tonight's episode. Fuck!
Just throughout the ship.
So gain 10 XP if you would, please, everyone. And gain 10 XP, Gina, on top of, what was it, 20 that I awarded you last session? Is that right? 20 XP? So you'll gain a total of 30 now.
Go to the VOD to confirm. But
Yeah.
it was a big pile. Yo, we blew up dark troopers and got new bricks and stuff.
Yes, you guys took out took out a total of 2 dark troopers and an interdictor class Star Destroyer, and what, 3 squads of stormtroopers? Like, y'all are fighting at the elite level.
Quite a lot of XP to do things with.
Yeah, y'all are fighting at the elite level. Ember Squad is no joke. Y'all started out as sort of a ragtag bunch of rooks that are just trying to get the job done, and now y'all are fucking like up there with Havoc Squad and the Bad Batch. Like, y'all are scary. All right, that is going to bring an end to this chapter of Ember Squad tonight. Thank you so much for joining us and the crew of the Poor Judgment. We will be back next Monday night for the next chapter in the story of this brave little squad. Until then, friends, may the Force be with you.